Hi friends, I'm Piper Gillin with Inland Dance Theater. Inland Dance Theater is a non-profit organization in San Bernardino that presents the Nutcracker Ballet every December. This afternoon, I'm going to share the story of the Nutcracker Ballet with you. During our presentation, you will see clips from our ballet and a behind-the-scenes look at the magic of theater makeup. Thank you to Mansion Memories for hosting these Making It Magical presentations online and for having us here today. Let's get started. Staring through the large door at Silberhaus Manor, Clara and her brother Fritz long for the party to begin. Soon their parents allow them inside the living room that proudly boasts the glittering cloak of Christmas. Clara and Fritz admire all the decorations and the presents underneath the Christmas tree. While Clara dances for their parents, Fritz opens a present and begins to play with the toy soldiers he finds inside. Only moments later, the party guests begin to arrive, and the merriment begins. Clara, Fritz, and their friends dance together to celebrate the season. Let's take a look at some of the dancing from the party. Clara's godfather, Herr Drosselmeyer, arrives as he entertains the guests with his magic. His nephew joins him as his assistant. The party guests watch in awe as Drosselmeyer dazzles them with his magic tricks. Let's take a look at some of Drosselmeyer's magic. Now, let's meet Brian Sandahl, who has played Herr Drosselmeyer in Inland Dance Theater's Nutcracker for over 30 years.
Hi everybody, my name is Brian Sandahl. I'm here with Mansion Memories, and today we're going to make it magical regarding the Nutcracker production with Inland Dance Theater. I perform the character of Herr Drosselmeyer, and I've done the production for over 30 years at the California Theater in San Bernardino. And for this magical memory presentation, I'm going to show how the character of Drosselmeyer comes to life. with makeup, stage makeup. One thing to remember is this is not for film. This is not for television. This is for live theater. So this is bigger. This is broader than makeup will be done for those type of productions. The character of Herr Drosselmeyer is a strange, magical character who brings magical toys and takes Clara on a magical journey in the story of the Nutcracker. Sometimes he's Clara's uncle, godfather, weird Uncle Drosselmeyer. I picture him as a weird grandfather coming to give Clara magical toys and take her on that journey. So that's kind of what's in my brain about who the character is. He's eccentric, he's wild, he's weird, he's magical, and brings a little bit of life to the story of the Nutcracker and the ballet. I'm mostly in the first act, and then Clara goes off to the land of the sweets and the land of the snow, and then I come back in at the end and take her back out of her dream and bring her back to reality. So in my vision, I'm taking her on this magical dream through her winter wonderland of Nutcracker. Okay, so let's begin. Again, this is a character that is seen from the audience 20 feet away, 50 feet away, 100 feet away. There could be a great distance between the front row and the back row of the balcony. So the makeup is broad. It's very exaggerated. You'll see it's very almost comical because it is so big. All right? So I'm going to start with, first thing I do is I have to add my nose. I have to use what's called medical adhesive because I sweat like a pig on stage because my costume is extremely thick, many, many layers, and I wear this bald cap, as you'll see at the end, but it keeps me very, very hot. So noses fall off unless I use medical adhesive, which is actually what they use in hospitals. So medical adhesive sticks this guy on very, very well. Oops, I need some more. Which means taking it off ain't so easy. Usually when the production is done each night, everyone's leaving, and I'm still taking off my makeup on my nose, because if I pull this off quickly, it will pull my skin off. That's not good. So you apply this, stick it on. This nose was actually made for me by a makeup man. It fits the end of my nose. Now, in television and film, they would take latex and they would fill it in so there isn't such a huge gap between my nose and here. But because this is big and bold for theater, I don't have to do that. So my nose is stuck on. Yep.
Drosselmeyer is a toy maker. He brings 2 life-size dolls to the party, a mechanical ballerina and a harlequin. The guests are delighted to watch these dolls dance. Let's take a look at the dolls dance at the party. After entertaining the guests, Drosselmeyer gives Clara a nutcracker. Clara dances with her new nutcracker as the young party guests dance with their dolls. The strange little nutcracker also captures Fritz's attention. Fritz is jealous that he did not receive a gift from Drosselmeyer. When Fritz attempts to wrench the Nutcracker from Clara's hands, he breaks it in half. Drosselmeyer ties a handkerchief around the broken Nutcracker to hold the pieces together. Sadly, Clara lays the broken Nutcracker under the Christmas tree. Clara dances with Drosselmeyer's nephew before the party ends. After the guests leave, Clara and Fritz are sent upstairs to bed. Unable to sleep, Clara sneaks back downstairs to find her Nutcracker. With only a flicker of light from her candle, she takes her Nutcracker from underneath the Christmas tree and dances with it. Then the strangeness of the night overcomes her as the clock strikes 12. Clara falls into a deep, haunting sleep with the Nutcracker wrapped in her arms. As she sleeps, an army of huge mice led by the Mouse King invades the room. They surround Clara and try to take her Nutcracker. The mice chase Clara into the corner of the room, but Drosselmeyer enters and prevents any harm from coming to Clara. He sends the mice and the Mouse King away. As the mice leave, Drosselmeyer asks Clara for her Nutcracker. He then transforms the little Nutcracker into a human-sized Nutcracker. As the Nutcracker marches around, Drosselmeyer magically transforms Clara's living room. Drosselmeyer makes Clara's Christmas tree and the presents underneath grow very large. Suddenly, one of the packages springs open and out march the toy soldiers, now grown to human dimensions. A stuffed bunny, stuffed gingerbread, a teddy bear, and Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls also come to life. The Mice and Mouse King come back, and their battle with the toy soldiers and the Nutcracker begins. Let's check back in with Brian Sandahl and see how things are going with his Drosselmeyer makeup.
You put on base to even out your skin tone and get away dark spots, light spots. And this also helps blend the nose color into my base makeup. I wear a patch over this eye, so I'm not going to do this eye because you're not going to see it. Doesn't make any sense. I do need to do my forehead because eventually I'll be putting on this wig, which is bald cap and yak hair, and we'll try to blend my skin tone up into that. So this base makeup basically just kind of evens out the skin and makes it kind of one tone as opposed to natural tones that are normally on your face. Okay, that's base. Next thing I do is I apply rouge. Now, I'm not a professional makeup artist. I learned this as I went along, but I am an artist, so it's like painting on your face. Now, Drosselmeyer is this kind of, again, he's a strange character, bigger than life. So I do this exaggerated. You would never do this for the street makeup or for theater. This is a Christmas story. This is, so it's, try to do it bright and cheery, and you're accentuating your cheeks because the base just wiped it all away. So you have to bring it back in and accentuate it. Again, because the audience is seeing it either really close or way far away, and they'd never see just normal makeup. And I go way up here. I kind of exaggerate it. So what I'm kind of doing now is I'm putting some of the base back over it to kind of blend it. Again, I'm not a professional makeup artist, folks. I've been doing this for 30 years, this characters, so it kind of becomes natural to me, but I like to give a little extra here. Again, because I've negated my real skin tone and my real cheeks, so I'm bringing back some, and try to make it symmetrical. Try. Drosselmeyer is kind of dark and mysterious, so I like to take this, it's called Misty Violet, which I believe is this one. Yep. My eye patch is worn on this eye, so I put makeup on this eye. Not putting makeup here because you'll never see it. But I like to take this Misty Violet, which is a dark purple, very dark, almost black. And I put this on my eye, the visible eye, because it sinks my eye back in and makes him look a little darker and mysterious. There's no spoken word, there's no dialogue in the Nutcracker, so you have to communicate with, I communicate with motions, and the makeup helps accentuate, oh, he's a weird looking guy, and he's, you know. Because the hair on the wig is white, and I have a mustache and a goatee, I want them all to match. So I take this stuff called Clown White, which is water-based, thank goodness. And I take my facial hair and I whiten it with this toothbrush that I've cut in half. So it's just a little bit of a toothbrush. And then I just comb it into my real beard and mustache to whiten it. I put a lot on because, again, I sweat profusely on stage because of the choreography and the amount of costumes I wear, which is the cape and tights and suit jacket and pants and vest and bald head and ruffle, and it's a lot to wear, and I get very warm. So and this stuff will drip right off if I don't put a lot on. So what I'm trying to do is make my facial hair match the hair of the wig that will go on at the end. Sometimes you mess up. I have to let it dry a little bit, and I'll take it off. See, I'm becoming older already. I'm only 30. Oh! No. I could leave this, no one would ever see it, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. Now this is wet, it has to kind of dry before I would go on stage. And I will put something on it that will set this toward the end of the makeup process. Now again, this eye's covered, so I'm not going to mess with this eye. But I do want to put a white eyebrow over here. I haven't done this in a year. Well, less, 9 months, whatever. So it's like riding a bike. It all comes back to me. After doing it 30-some years, the makeup becomes instinctive. See, again, it's exaggerated. I would never wear this on the street for a Halloween costume or a party or something, maybe, yeah, but it's bigger than life.
The mice and the toy soldiers engage in battle. The Mouse King and the Nutcracker fight bravely with their swords. The Mouse King deals heartlessly with the poor Nutcracker. Clara watches as the Mouse King deals a hard blow to the Nutcracker's head. All hope appears to be lost when the Mouse King tries to stab the Nutcracker. Drosselmeyer arrives and grabs the Mouse King. Clara rises to the Nutcracker's defense and hits the Mouse King on the head with her shoe. The Mouse King falls to the ground and dies. After the Mouse King's death, Drosselmeyer performs his magic once again. He transforms the Nutcracker into a handsome prince, who happens to resemble Herr Drosselmeyer's nephew. Drosselmeyer introduces the prince to Clara and they dance together. To reward Clara for saving his life, the prince invites her to travel with him to the magic land of sweets. On their way, they stop into the Snow Kingdom, where they are graciously received by the Snow King and Queen. The Snow King and Queen and the snowflakes of the Snow Kingdom dance for the couple's entertainment. Afterwards, the Snow King and Queen grant them their blessings, and they send them on their way toward the land of sweets. Let's take a look at the Snow Kingdom. Let's check back in with Brian Sandahl and see how things are going with his Drosselmeyer makeup.
The next step I would normally do is I would put on facial lines, and I'll do that in a second, but I'm going to show you a little secret that I do. A lot of times when we do our first rehearsal, it's very tense, everyone's nervous, and the scenery isn't working, and the director's yelling and screaming at everybody, especially me. So I try to lighten things up and make people smile. So I have this big entrance through the living room doors when I come in, and I try to make people smile. And so I often wear funny costumes, and then the director goes, "What are you doing?" And we all laugh and have a good time. And that cuts the energy, and it cuts the nervousness of everybody. So one of the things I do is I stick in these funny teeth. They were molded to my teeth, so they just pop in and look like this. So the director and the audience can't see what I'm wearing. But I walk around on stage and I smile big and I show everybody on stage what I'm wearing. And they kind of laugh and giggle and they lighten up. And then we go on with a less tense rehearsal. So I pull all sorts of shenanigans sometimes, and this helps lighten up everybody's emotions, and we all have a good time. I have lots of noses and all sorts of stuff. Well, here's one. These are good too. Okay, the next thing I would do is I would apply lines to make me older. So what you do when you're trying to make yourself older on stage is you accentuate the lines you already have. If you're a young person and you don't have a lot of lines, you got to make them up. I'm an old guy, so I use my lines as the path to follow, because you don't want to have a funny line over here if you have a real line right there. So what I like to do is I like to go like this. Again, these are big, heavy lines, comical lines, because I have to communicate to the audience age. And if you're too subtle, it doesn't work. The first row can see it, but I have to communicate to the people back in the back row. They paid to see the performance too, so they deserve the same show as the people in the expensive orchestra seats. So I'm following the natural lines of my face. It's like I'm an artist and I'm painting on a canvas, but the canvas is my face. I'm going to pop my nose out. So by shading around my nose pops forward. It's a visual thing. I'm going to go down here. My face is symmetrical, kind of, sort of. So you want to do the same thing on one side as you do on the other. This process takes a while. A lot of people, when they get old, get crow's feet. That's where you get these lines at the end of your eye. I have a few. But you go off the corner of the eye. Whoop. I do a couple long ones and a short one. Whoop. I make noises too. And I try to blend the dark above my eye into these lines. And you have to keep a nice point on your brush. I also try to create bags under my eyes. I go like this, and then I follow out like that. It's bigger than life. Again, I'm trying to communicate way in the back of the audience. Now, I don't have to do makeup here, but I do want to do makeup under the eye, because it's going to be, most of it's going to be covered. I like to do this. I also like to do this right here, because this will help pop out the white of that part of my beard. Yeah. To do my wrinkles on my face, which I have a lot of them, I just go like this, and I follow them. Gotta make sure you have a point on your brush. Go like this. You just follow those natural ones. Again, I've done this for a long time, so I know what to do. Got a couple across my forehead. What I'm going to try to do eventually is blend my lines on my forehead with the lines of this wig that's going to go on. I take white on a brush, and it's like highlight and shadow. The dark lines are the creases in my face, and the white pops them up even more. This is way exaggerated than you would normally do, but for Halloween or for stage, it's perfect. And it's all going to get knocked down with a powder in a minute. Yeah. Now see, this white is a little too runny. But usually if I do this, I make a mistake become real. And everybody on stage looks pretty normal, except for me, which is good because Drosselmeyer is not a normal person. He's this weird guy. When I come to the front door, I usually hear the audience go, ooh, ah, ooh, he's creepy. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to make the people think, this is not a normal person. And believe me, I'm not normal. Now, being on stage is a lot of fun. It allows you to make a character and be someone that you're not. And I've been doing it all my life, ever since I was 11 years old, when I performed my first production. And the theater bug bit me, and I've been on stage the rest of my life. And I take my fingers and I blend it. Makes it softer. Another thing I like to do is I take the white and I go right down here, right down the front, right down the top of my nose, and right out the edge of the fake nose. That pops my nose forward and makes it appear even bigger than it actually is. It's very cartoony, but Drosselmeyer, again, is not real. He's kind of a cartoony, whimsical, magical character, and he shouldn't look real. He should look fantastical. Looks pretty good. Another thing I like to do is I like to take the end of the brush and I like to put little dots on my face. Like little, the base covered up my natural skin tone, but by putting little dots and little things on, let's do the black. Almost like freckles. But it makes him older. These are age spots. As you get older, you get spots on your face from sun damage or whatever. And this makes him a little more real. I put some on here too. I have moles on there were big, you can't see them right now, but there were big moles on my nose, my fake nose, not my real nose. So I like to accentuate those too. Just by putting a little dark. It's going pretty good. One of the last things I do is I apply bright red lips to mine with this stuff. I've used it for years. And I don't say anything on stage. I don't have lines. I don't speak audibly to anybody. But just by putting on this red makeup, and it's bright red, you do this. I guess this is called blotting. Someone told me once. Again, I'm not a professional makeup guy. This is just something I do every year. And if I'm going like Clara, like, oh no, then you see my lips. I don't say that, but you see my facial expression is accentuated by the red around my lips. Again, all this stuff is accentuated and over-exaggerated because I want to communicate to the audience. And I can't talk. The only way I can communicate is with physical motion or with whatever.
Upon reaching the sugar-coated land of sweets, Clara and the prince are greeted by the Sugar Plum Fairy. Endowed with a festive spirit, the Sugar Plum Fairy, who lives in a sugar-spun palace, calls all her subjects together to honor her guests. She asks her subjects to dance for Clara and the prince. Clara and the prince take the seat of honor upon the royal throne. They are entertained by the sweets of various countries, including Spain, Arabia, China, and Russia. Let's take a look at the sweets from these countries. Let's check in with Brian Sandahl again and see how things are going with his Drosselmeyer makeup.
I made the eye patch years ago. It's made with a material called scrim, which is a theatrical material. I can see through this. It's like a woven fabric. So it looks like a solid patch to the audience and I can't see, but in reality, I can see right through it. The first rehearsal, it's always very weird because even though I can see through it, it does limit my vision somewhat. See, this is what they call a bald cap, and this hair is yak hair. It's actually from a critter called a yak, which is in Europe somewhere, I believe. I don't know. It's a beast of burden. It's like a buffalo kind of or something. Usually what I would do is I would spray my hair down all wet so that this goes down fast. Pop this on. Look, I'm already a different person. What I try to do is make that line of the plastic disappear by blending with makeup. It's going to get a little messy right now, but again, I can get away with murder on stage with the makeup because most of the audience is so far away that they can't see this. Like if I make a mistake or if I, usually because it's rubber, you have to kind of use the stipple motion. Oh, there we go, that's better. And it starts to blend my skin tone into the skin tone of the makeup that I applied on this headpiece. There's a curvature on the wig like this. So I try to match that curvature with a couple lines, and that helps blend in the lines on my face with the lines on the actual wig. This is where it gets tricky because I can't put on my glasses to actually see what I'm doing. So again, these lines help continue the lines on my face up to the fake lines on the wig. Woohoo, getting pretty close. Then one of the very last things I do is I spray the heck out of this hair. And I make this hair stand up as big as I can possibly do it. Usually I go down like this. Again, he's a character. He's out there. He's really wacko. So I want to make this hair as big as I possibly can. When I make that front entrance through the door, I want to hear that audience go, "Ooh!" And by making the hair stick up, there you go. And that pretty much is how Brian becomes Herr Drosselmeyer.
Clara and the prince enjoy the dancing in the land of sweets. The candy marzipan are the next to dance for the couple. Mother Ginger arrives with her large dress and matching hat. Clara and the prince are delighted when the candy bonbons come out from underneath Mother Ginger's dress to dance for them. Then the festive spirit prods the flowers of the kingdom into a proud waltz before the throne, led by the Dewdrop Fairy and her cavalier. Let's take a look at the candy marzipan, the bonbons, and the waltz of the flowers. Sugar Plum Fairy and her cavalier pay final tribute to the young couple as they dance at the grand pas de deux before the throne. Clara and the prince are in awe of the couple's lifts, dips, and turns. The sweets and flowers of the kingdom then come together with the Sugar Plum Fairy to celebrate one last time before bidding their guests adieu. Let's watch the Sugar Plum Fairy and her cavalier. Let's take a look at the final celebration of the Land of Sweets. One of the most famous parts of the Nutcracker Ballet is the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. This is a special dance that the Sugar Plum Fairy performs for Clara and the prince. Let's watch Samantha Schmidt as she performs the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. hope you enjoyed your time with us today learning about the Nutcracker Ballet. Thank you to Mansion Memories for your important work that you do for kids in our community and for the opportunity to join making it magical. For more information about Inland Dance Theater and our production of the Nutcracker Ballet, please visit idtnutcracker.org. We hope you have a happy and safe holiday season, and we hope to see you at a future performance of the Nutcracker.